Now, the Council for Medical Schemes is blasting the top 5 medical aid companies.
Now, it says the schemes announced fee increases before they were given the green light. This, they say, is required in terms of a new directive that was issued back in July. The council is saying 66 of the 71 schemes did comply with the directive, though.
But it was ignored by Discovery, Momentum, MediHelp, Bonitas and BestMed. And I'm sure you listening to this thinking, oh, that's one of my medical schemes. Well, the council's Stephen Monamedi explained the process to eNCA's Melissa T.
The Council for Medical Schemes, we are always engaging the medical schemes at all levels, at all material times, because the Council for Medical Schemes wouldn't want a situation where it finds or sees the medical schemes being under solvency. So there is a need to influence, to say that the decisions that you are taking or pronouncements that you are taking are contrary against what the provisions of the Medical Schemes Act require of you to do. Remember Section 29 and 31 and 32, there are rules of medical schemes that they must abide by, which include members, officers, and members of the medical schemes that are binding to all of us. So, as you know, are very well aware, Melissa, is that the medical schemes, the way they operate is very different. All of us contribute to a pool, and these funds, we need to make sure that they're spent very well, because we're talking about people's lives at the end of the day, people's health and health at the end of the day. So we need to make sure that the register is empowered and to execute his decisions, and his decisions stick. But on top of that, medical schemes are allowed to challenge the register's decisions. So within the medical scheme environment, we do have a leeway where they can submit or lodge appeals.
All right, so quite a complicated story, and as we heard a moment ago, there are 5 medical aids which have been mentioned in this report. One of those is Discovery Health. So let's get more from what is the outgoing Discovery Health CEO. It's Ryan Noach, been around for a very, very long time. He's on his way out at the end of this year, I understand. But we'll get to that in a moment. Ryan, morning to you. We'll talk about what's been a very long and I'm sure very successful career for you. Morning, Ryan. I just want to talk, first of all, if we could, about the report, saying 2 things. I want to get your comment to this. One of those is that you've undermined the regulator's authority and that you did not communicate the contribution increases. Did you mislead your members? Did you lie as Discovery?
Well, Gareth, that sounds horrific. The clear answer is absolutely no, and we are absolutely shocked and horrified by this. I mean, it sounds, when you say 5 of 66 schemes did this, it sounds like this was on the margin and a few naughty players. But let me recalibrate the 5 of 66. Those 5 medical schemes represent, by our calculation, 97% of the members of medical schemes in open medical schemes in South Africa. So we're talking about 3% of the members of schemes in South Africa that are not in this position. So for clarity, the 5 of 66 is entirely misleading. The balance of the schemes are either restricted medical schemes, which means they're employer-based schemes who communicate entirely differently. So you can't put them in the same realm as the open medical schemes that have been picked out by the council here. Or, in fact, they're tiny open schemes that represent a very small share of the market. So for clarity, firstly, Gareth, this is effectively the entire open medical scheme industry that the council believes has not followed their approach. Secondly, we're shocked and surprised by this. We seek nothing more, and as does the scheme, Discovery Health Medical Scheme, seek nothing more than compliance with the council. We want an amicable relationship with our regulator, and we've tried very hard to do what we do every single year. So let me make this point, Gareth. For the last 25 years, we've done nothing different to what we've done this year. This pattern is a pattern that's existed for 25 years. The communication of the benefits always happens during September of the year ahead of the changes. It happens a couple of months sooner than the change to allow financial advisors to do their technical analysis, to do their training and understanding of the changes, and then to give adequate time for consultations between members and employers and advisors ahead of the change on 1 January.
Is this
There's
because of
also
that
the matter
change
of,
back in July, Ryan? Because I mentioned that in the story before this, the Council for Medical Schemes issuing this new directive, which I understand was issued in July. Is that where this problem's come in? Has there been a sudden change?
There's a similar directive issued every single year. We get that directive annually. It's a directive that guides the contribution increase. It gives guidance around consumer price inflation, utilization increases, the trends of utilization. And so it sets the tone from the council for the orientation of schemes towards the inflation in the period. And it provides consensus views from economists and so on. So that circular happens every year. This year there was one extra sentence inside the 12 pages of the circular. It's always different, of course, the circular, but this year there was one sentence inside the 12 pages which says we advise that the council, that these changes be discussed with the council before communicating. And so there was a guidance note and advice. There was certainly no instruction. We didn't intend to breach anything. And the fact that almost every single open medical scheme member in South Africa is in the same position with the council on this, I think it's really strong evidence that everybody did this in good faith. Frankly, we believe that the scheme would be breaching its obligations should it not communicate fully and openly and transparently with its members about the upcoming change, with adequate time for members to take advice and make changes themselves.
Let me ask you this, Ryan. So when we now take a look at how the CMS Directive was interpreted, just so we understand for your members specifically, did Discovery announce the scheme prices before getting approval from the regulator? That's the crux of the situation. Is that what Discovery did?
Yes, frankly, the clear answer to that is yes. All of the open medical schemes listed by the council did that. The law is quite clear. The Medical Schemes Act sets out clearly that a scheme may not implement changes to its contributions or its benefits without the express approval of the Council for Medical Schemes. Now, that's the law. The law is very clear about that. So the change on 1 January 2024, or for that matter, the 1st of January every year, always requires formal sign-off from the Council. Discovery typically receives that sign-off in late November or during December of the year. That would be way too late to communicate to members, stakeholders, employers, and brokers.
Sure.
By that time, there is inadequate time for people to make changes and understand the changes. So what typically happens every single year is that the changes are communicated. Everybody's informed that they're subject to the council approval, and then those council approvals are secured in the normal course towards the end of November and December every year. There has been one change in 1 year that I can remember quite some years ago, probably 8 or 9 years ago, that the council didn't approve for Discovery Health Medical Scheme. And of course, then on the 1st of January, that change couldn't be implemented. Yeah. And so advisory was, had to be made to people to say this change will now not be made.
Ryan, I want to ask you about your resignation in a moment. I want to leave time for that. But very quickly, just for Discovery members, how is this affecting them today? Are you costing them any more money that they don't know about? Just quickly as you can.
No, absolutely not. No impact to members from this matter today. And clearly we're working hard to resolve this with council. So absolutely no impact to members at this stage.
And you've decided it's time to move on. Greener pastures, other pastures, no pastures. You're going to put your feet up. What are you doing? Ryan, you're on your way out. Well done.
Thanks, Gareth. It's a great pity that we have to, in the same interview, deal with this matter of a disagreement with the regulator and my departure. They're totally unrelated. And I saw a very naughty article in the media last night which tried to link the two. And I should unequivocally say they're unrelated. My departure has been planned for a while, and this is a completely new and unrelated matter. Yes, Gareth, I'm moving on, moving into a new industry unrelated to healthcare and financial services. I'm excited about a challenge to learn something new in telecoms. I'm joining the D&I group as its group CEO. together with the founder, who is moving to a chairman role. And I'm looking forward to learning as much as I can about telecoms and working with a great team. Importantly, at Discovery, we've had a long planning of succession. For about 18 months, we've been planning a succession. The Deputy CEO, Dr. Ron Whelan, takes over from me in CEO position. The company is strong. The team is absolutely robust. And the succession will be entirely seamless. And actually, to be clear with you, Gareth, that's probably my proudest moment of 15 years, is being able to leave a team that's in a great position with absolutely no ripple in the water. I'm pretty sure actually Ron will do a better job than me.
And I'm sure we'll speak to Ron in weeks to come. Ryan Noach, all the best with the changes coming and being a long career as well. And I'm glad you addressed is it linked to the issue we were talking about? Because I was going to go there, but you nipped it in the bud. Ryan Noach, thanks very much. The outgoing Discovery Health CEO joining us this morning. So Discovery members, yes, there are other medical aids as well, but as far as Discovery is concerned, Ryan Noach saying not impacting members financially at the moment. So you can breathe a sigh of relief. It's more of a regulatory issue. Thanks to Ryan for his time.